I'm Bethany Anderson of Bethany Heals, and if life's been lifing lately, then you found me just in time. This is a pause, a permission slip to just be. And before we begin, let me remind you, your healing isn't on a timeline. Around here, we don't hustle our healing, we honor it. Trust that your intuition brought you here for a reason. So let's drop into our next archive episode. Hello, loves, and welcome to archive episode number 5. So I just finished leading my online gathering. That was tonight, opening ceremony. And it was just so beautiful and empowering. Like, there were some moments that I popped off, for sure, and sent some tough love, but it was just so great to be back in community, and everyone that showed up was just sharing what they were currently experiencing and going through, and it is just such the best reminder that, honestly, we're never alone. I guarantee you, if you're going through it, someone else is too. Hey, I'm going through it. We're going to talk about it today. So I wanted to start by sharing, I was out running errands before opening ceremony tonight, and I was deciding on what I was going to do for dinner. Because I was going to cook, but then I thought, Bethany, be real. You are not going to have the energy for that after your ceremony. So I was going back and forth on what to do when I thought, should I just pick something up to go? And then I paused for a second and I was like, and then I said out loud, you know what? Future Bethany will thank me. So I went and I picked up a celebratory dinner, and it was the best reward after all of the hard work that I put into this offering. And that leads me to why we're here today. As you know, I am currently moving through a breakup. As well as, if you want to throw it all in there, I've moved to a new state where I didn't really know anyone, by myself, and then my relationship ended within a 4-month window. If you want to talk about moving through changes, some of them unexpectedly chaotic, this is a perfect example of that. And I feel like in the midst of really challenging seasons of our life, it is the most difficult for us to stay connected with the rituals and the practices that actually allow us to stay grounded and present as we move through the emotions, the ups and downs, the roller coaster of life that we're experiencing. And so how do you get the motivation to take care of yourself? Because when you're going through it, sometimes you just don't have the energy to show up for yourself. You're exhausted. You're overwhelmed. You're still going about your day-to-day life on top of everything else that is coming up. But it's actually in these exact moments that you do need your rituals, that you do need the devotional practices that keep you grounded. And so I want to share some of the practices that have helped me through the most challenging times of my life. Because, I've been talking to a few friends as of late who are also going through it. And I'm like, we got to nourish ourselves, especially in these troubling times. This is when you need to prioritize you the most. And, with the emotions that have been coming up in my life, some days are good, some days are bad. Some days the mornings are terrible, and then I end up having a great day. So when you notice you have these inconsistencies moving throughout your life, here's what you can do. One of the first things that I did after my relationship ended was I returned to the elements of nature. And I'm not just saying when I went on that wildly stunning, beautiful mountain hike where I swam in the Washington Lake and I left it all in the mountain as I was walking down it. I'm talking about when I'm at home. And so one of the first things that I did was take a salt bath. And if you don't have a bath, you can do this in the shower. But when I tell you that your words have power, your words hold so much power. The vibration of your voice can literally change molecules and how they respond to you. And so when I'm in this space of preparing for a salt bath for myself, as the tub begins to fill, I place my hands over the water and I just tell it what I need. It can be as simple as telling this beautiful element of water, whether it's a bath or a shower, as I step in, purify and cleanse everything that is no longer serving me. Wash away the pain, the grief, and the heaviness that is getting in the way of my highest sovereignty and truth. Okay, that was a mouthful, but you get what I'm saying. And so before I step into my bath, I also add to the water Dead Sea salt, because Dead Sea salt is so cleansing for your physical body, for your energetic body. We're talking about energetic spiritual hygiene right now, okay? And so I even speak to the salt before I add it to the water. Salt, please purify and cleanse and wash away anything that is getting in the way of my alignment, right? Wash away the cords, wash away all of the other people's energy that is stuck to my body and to my energetic self. And then I dump that salt in. We're taking a really salty bath. And if it's in the shower, you can just put it in a little muslin bag and scrub your body with that. But if there's one thing I've noticed when I connect to the elements when I'm within my home with my beautiful salt baths, it's just a moment where there's nowhere else you need to be and nothing that you need to do but just receive this cleansing. Reset your space. From a physical standpoint, reset your space. From an energetic standpoint, reset your space. And I'm not in there for a long time. You can do this for 10 minutes if you want to, whatever feels best and right for you. But just make sure you dunk your head a few times. Really get in there, you know? And so that's actually one of my favorite practices that I love to do to reset my space so I can come out with a clearer mind and a little more settled into my body. And so outside of my salt baths, another practice that has been so important for my sanity is setting aside time for journaling. Now, you know that I was in the thick of it when I have journals that are filled from first page to last page, front to back. I have a brand new journal up here that has about 5 pages written in it. And I didn't realize how disconnected I was from this practice until I opened that journal. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay, I obviously need to start again. And so what I've been doing lately is I've been blocking time on my calendar just for journaling. Usually before bed, when I know I'm not going to be distracted, when I know that's usually the time that you're probably scrolling on your phone or watching some Netflix. Don't get me wrong, I love me a good show, but when you're going through challenging times, this is your priority. Coming back to you is your priority right now. And so what I do is I block off the last hour of my day, or for you, it might be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I set a timer and I just free write. I don't have a plan. I don't have a bunch of journal prompts that I'm going to use. I just let my hand flow. Whatever it needs to say, whatever needs to come out of my body is coming out of that hand and onto that paper. And you'd be so surprised to notice the revelations that you have when you're writing knowing that no one's going to read it. You don't even have to reread it, honestly. If you want, you can scribble to your heart content about the things that are upsetting you the most and then burn it safely. You know, the whole point is getting all of the cyclical thoughts, the overthinking, the self criticisms out of your head and onto paper. So you're not carrying this throughout your day. So you can go to bed just a little bit clearer. And if journaling isn't for you, maybe it's going on a walk and using your voice memo app and just talking to yourself. Or maybe it's just taking a few moments to connect back with your breath. Like the box breath, right? Inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath at the top for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, hold your breath at the bottom for a count of 4. The box breath is a beautiful way to regulate your nervous system. Or maybe it's listening to a grounding meditation. I have plenty of free ones everywhere on my website. Just ask, reach out to me, I'll send them to you. A grounding meditation is such a beautiful way to energetically heal yourself, to start to clear out all of that funky noise and foreign energy, which is just anything that's not yours, that isn't serving you, from your space, from your body, so you can start to discern and understand what is yours and what isn't yours to carry. Whatever that practice is for you, that's going to be a healthy outlet, that is now your priority. Maybe it's painting, maybe it's drawing, maybe it's going to a sound bath. But these are really intentional practices that are designed to help you get back into your body, to ground you down into the present moment. So you're not off, stuck in the past, thinking all about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And you're not off out in the future thinking about what the plan was supposed to be or what it should look like. This is all about coming back and returning to you in the act of devotion to the self. And so when you start to create this list of self-care practices, of these devotional rituals that can seem so simple but are so powerful, you've created your very first toolkit, your healing kit to get you through the day. Create a list for yourself. That is my homework for you this week. I want you to create a self-care list for you. So when you get into these states where things feel out of control and you can't even think straight about what you need for yourself in that moment, you can turn to that list. You know, that's something that we did in Elixir, my 8-week program. We worked through 3 different realms, through confidence, abundance, connecting with your higher self, right? And during the higher self realm, that was one of the practices that I gave them. And it was actually a lot of fun to create those, because I think that when we prepare ourselves for these moments, it actually takes one less thing off your plate that you have to think about. So self-care and the act of devotion. You know, the fact that this episode aligned perfectly with the opening of eclipse season is just divine timing. Because we have officially stepped into eclipse season. All right, y'all, get ready. Grab your hot bevy, your nice little favorite blanket, whatever you need. We're about to go in for a moment on eclipse season. So, eclipses are when the sun and the moon conjoin or oppose each other. We have eclipse seasons twice a year. We have lunar eclipses, which are full moon eclipses, and we have solar eclipses, which happen during a new moon. Now, the eclipse season that we are in, these eclipses land in the signs of Pisces and Virgo. So eclipses move through all of the signs, but they usually stay in a coupling of signs for about 18 months or so. So last year, up to about the beginning of this year, we were moving through the Aries Libra eclipse axes. And then we officially really moved into Pisces Virgo's eclipses in about March of this year during that first eclipse season. And so when we have eclipses in these signs, for example, right now, Pisces and Virgo, these are areas of your birth chart. You know, that birth chart with the 12 slices that go from Aries through Pisces. We all have slices within each sign from the first to the 12th house. So, for example, I am a Virgo rising. So, the Pisces Virgo axes that are being highlighted in my birth chart are my first house as a Virgo ascendant and my seventh house of one-to-one partnerships, relationships, business collaborations. So, even if you don't have any like planets or luminaries or comets, whatever, everything that's in there, look at the numbers that Pisces and Virgo are for you. Those are the houses that are going to be activated during this time for you. When we're going to the eclipses of Pisces and Virgo, we have these nodes called the North Node and the South Node. So the North Node it's really the energy of consumption, but it's also like what we're looking to experience or what we're drawn to experience next. It can be an energy of overconsumption, especially with eclipses, but this is what our North Node is moving towards over the next 18 months. And then we have the South Node. The South Node is what is being cleared away, what we need to release and let go of. And so these eclipses are connected to these mathematical points around the moon in the sky, these North and South nodes. All of our Pisces eclipses are in the North Node. And then all of the Virgo eclipses are South Node eclipses. Okay, stay with me. So, over the 18-month period of these Pisces and Virgos eclipses, they're honestly a little bit longer than 18 months, but that's like the average. Pisces is the sign, the archetype of the spiritualist, the creative, the intuitive, right? The watery, beautiful, dreamy sign. And when it leads to overconsumption, this can lead to spiritual bypassing because you're just like all the way out in the woo-woo, right? But it's also the energy of flow and of trusting source, creator, God, whatever you want to call it. So this is what we're leaning towards over 18 months. How can we lean more towards these energies of trusting the process, of trusting our intuition, of leaning into our spiritual side? Because on the opposite end, you have the South Node in Virgo. And Virgo, although also a beautiful healer, my Earth witches love you so much. I'm a Virgo rising. It's also the energy of control and perfectionism and everything needing to be a specific certain way down to the detail, right? I love our Virgo's attention to detail, but you can be really self-critical. I love you. But the self-criticism has got to go. The perfectionism has got to go. So how can we lean towards trusting in the flow and releasing control? How can we lean more towards just being in the essence and energy of the process of life instead of things needing to look or be a certain way with this perfect plan? How can we release the criticism of ourselves and the criticism towards others and lean more towards the compassionate, loving essence of Pisces? So we're going through this whole conversation, this axis of Pisces and Virgo, where we're clearing out all of the things that are no longer serving us. We're releasing the control and the perfectionism and the overcritical tendencies, and we're being asked to lean into the energy and essence of the trustful. This is where it's time to tap into your spiritual practices because you're going to have so much outside noise happening around you. Because it's eclipse season, but we also got all types of planets doing all types of really big transits that have not happened in years, nor all at the same time. So because we have all of this quote unquote chaotic energy that's happening outside of us, it is really, really hard to be able to cut out the noise and to listen to yourself. And this is why we prepare the vessel. This is why we have our devotional practices and rituals. This is where you set the foundation for your future self. When all of that noise gets too much, you know that you can return to yourself. Whether it's with the salt baths, the journaling, the nature walks, the sound baths, whatever it is that is best and centered and grounding for you. How can we bring ourselves back down from the ether and back into our bodies? And just know, eclipses are powerful. They're so powerful, you actually don't have to do anything. Because it's gonna cut it out for you. If there's something that's not aligned for you, it will cut it out for you. That is the power of eclipse season. There is nothing that you actually need to do except for be in the flow with the chaos. Be in the flow with what's being shown to you. Don't ignore it. And don't resist it. Because the more you resist, the harder the fall is. Trust me, I've been there. And so that's my invitation for you for this eclipse season. How can you prepare for your future self? What can you do now to take care of the foundation of you? So when those changes, those unexpected moments, when those instances of clarity show up for you, you won't be out there stuck in some storm with no roof over your head. So I'll leave you with this one question. What will your future self thank you for? So thank you so much for joining me in another episode of Life Be Life.ing. I know eclipse season can sound very scary, but just please know there's nothing to be afraid of, because ultimately all of these energies in the sky are just wanting to align you onto your most destined path. So just pay attention and notice what comes up for you over this next eclipse season, because those energies will reverberate out for like 3 to even 6 months. So just pay attention, be kind to yourself. And if you're looking for some support on your journey towards your spiritual connection with the self, Elixir begins on September 24th. Oh my gosh, it's right around the corner. I am so excited for this next round of Elixir, where we dive deep into the realms of abundance, confidence, and the higher self. Like, we dig deep and you have me in your back pocket for 8 weeks. I'm just saying. A time is to be had. If you haven't joined already, I highly recommend joining the waitlist. It's linked below because I have a ton of bonuses and goodies set up for my waitlist girlies. So until next time, I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode.